what does a winning ad actually look like? We've heard all the buzzwords, clear messaging, strong visuals, catchy headlines, but do you really need to master them all? In this episode, we are breaking down the 3 keys to winning ads so you can make more sales and grow your brand. Also, be sure to stick around for a special bonus tip where we're going to reveal our favorite tool to spy on competitor ads to see what's working now to use for your own ads. My name is Adrian Von Arx, here with my co-host, Carlos Colon. Welcome to the Print On Demand podcast, a show dedicated to helping you make money online with Shopify and Print On Demand. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in and welcome to the show. We love hanging out with you guys. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the 3 keys to winning ads in 2025. This is going to be led by our amazing Facebook ads expert, Carlos. I'm so excited to hear what he has to say. He's so knowledgeable in this stuff and just has so much experience. It's always awesome hearing from you, Carlos.
Thank you.
But just before we jump into that, I just wanted to really quickly say, if you are enjoying the show and these weekly episodes that we drop every single Friday, if you could, please help us out by rating and reviewing the show on whichever platform you're listening on. We would greatly appreciate it. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you so much for your advance. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate you being here. So with that, Carlos, man, I'm going to just hand over the mic and let you kind of take this one.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So let's do a quick breakdown here. In this podcast episode, I want to introduce to you the 3 keys to winning ads in 2025. And just to be clear, it's 3. It's only 3 things: product, offer, targeting. Simple, right? In other words, to make it a little bit more clear, your product is desirable, your offer is clear, and your targeting is obvious. I'm going to start with product, because this is the most important thing. Without a desirable product, there's no point in running ads. So product, this is the most important thing. And ideally, it's a mass appeal product. What I mean is it's a product that you can scale up profitably. So I'm not going to say too much about this, but I'm going to go into it enough so you understand what I'm getting at here. Just to be clear as well, we do go over a lot in our video on the 6-figure sales system in episode 13. On how to find a desirable product, so the steps for it. And then we also talk about it in the 6-figure t-shirt designs episode 6. So you can always go back and look at those. I highly recommend you go back to those 2 episodes if you haven't seen those yet. But in summary, we use design research to increase the likelihood of creating winning products. And then we advertise these products on free and low-cost channels like social media and email marketing to check for product desirability before testing with paid ads. The key thing here is that you don't have to test every product with paid ads. And that's the point. In fact, there's many ways that you can screen out undesirable products long before wasting money on paid ads to them. After all, as good as Meta is at running ads, it cannot sell a product that nobody wants to buy. Adrian, thoughts?
Yeah, no, that was really well said. I mean, really, we like ads for 2 reasons: testing and amplifying. Amplifying reach, and in return, generally amplifying sales if it is that high desirability product that you talked about, the quote winning design, the winning product, right? So this is good stuff. I think it's important for people to know that. There are free and low cost channels that you can leverage, like organic social media, like email marketing. If you don't have a social media presence, if you don't have an email list, then your best bet is easily going to be running ads at small budgets for testing purposes. And you could start doing that right out of the gate. We do encourage it if you put a budget aside for that. But there are options when it comes to looking for validation.
Yeah. Key here is that of the 3 keys to a winning ad, one of them is a desirable product. And we've shown you how to find that desirable product before you start spending money on ads, which is nice, because then ideally you're always starting with that one of the 3 keys to a winning ad. You've already got the product that's desirable. And then the next 2 keys are things that are totally in your control. They don't have to do with the product. They have more to do with how you run the ad. And so I'm going to jump into those 2 now. I'm going to start with offer. That's the second key to a winning ad. And by offer, I mean that the offer is clear. So in other words, it's really the what, why, and how of the ad is clear. So what are you selling? Why should someone want it? And how can they get it? You'd think that this should be obvious, but in many cases, it's not. And if people aren't clear on any of these components of your offer, then you're likely losing sales due to this. The best part of this, though, is that it's easy to do. You can answer all three of these questions very easily through the imagery you use and the text you use in your ad. And I just want to I know that this is an audio first podcast, so apologies in advance for not having a visual for you because you're listening to this. But I want you to just imagine, and I'm gonna give you kind of like a scenario of what a winning ad looks like. And this is a real life example of a winning ad that you can reverse engineer and understand why the offer is clear and what they had to put into place for that offer. So this is an ad from Whole Strength. Now, Whole Strength, just a little bit about Whole Strength. They're a Christian apparel company, and they're focused on the younger demographic, mainly males, and focused on males that want to express their Christian beliefs at the gym. So males who love to lift and want to express that belief at the gym through their clothing. And so they put out this ad that has been running for a long time. And it's an ad with a young looking guy, big muscular guy, obviously in the gym because there's a gym in the background. He's looking down, so he's not like looking at the camera or anything like that. The focus is really on the shirt. And the shirt has a cross, clearly displaying like a cross with barbells on it. So it's like a Christian cross, but with barbells on the horizontal part of the cross. And if we look at this offer, if you look at this ad, it's so good. The ad imagery itself, the design pops and is clearly legible on mobile and desktop. It's white on black. It's big enough that you can see it. If you are seeing it on a mobile phone. And then the product is the hero of the image. It's centered, front facing. There's no distractions, no weird facial expressions from the guy. He's just looking down. Everything's about the shirt. And the context of the image is clear. There's a gym in the background, so this is gym wear. And there's a young guy with muscles. This is gym wear for guys with muscles. Now, beyond that, there's also ad copy or the text in the ad. And the text in the ad gives a product description that gives the offer in 3 words: premium cutoff. And that's what it is. That's what you're buying there. That's what's for sale here. That's what you can buy from this ad. The brand description gives the context: athletic clothing to glorify Christ. So athletic clothing that helps you express your religious beliefs. And then the call to action button at the very bottom is clear as day. It says shop now. So this is something you can buy now by clicking the button. There's no question what the offer is here. The product is a muscle shirt. The value to the person looking at this ad is that you can express, if you're Christian, you can express your religious beliefs while working out at the gym. And then the call to action, you can buy it now by clicking this button. So that's what I mean by offer is clear. Everything's there. The context, the gym wear for guys with muscles, the design clearly displayed on there so you know what you're buying. The call to action button that says shop now, so it's clear where to press to shop to buy. The product context, like the young muscular guy in the gym, and also the text that talks about what this is all about. It's clothing to glorify Christ. Adrian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that is such an iconic ad on so many levels. What I will say is by far the image is going to be the most important. People shop with their eyes. So, having that image, not only with the design as the hero of the image, but also just making it super personalized to the niche, right? The young guy who they target at the gym, big muscles. I see people at the gym all the time wearing Whole Strength. Like, they're not just selling a product, they're selling a movement. They're selling a movement, a self-identifying movement where someone's going to look at that and it's going to describe them. And they're going to be like, whoa, like that's me. I'm the guy that loves to glorify Christ and loves to go to the gym and work out. And I mean, they're selling a lifestyle. That's what it is. I see guys at the gym, like I said, with Whole Strength all the time, and they're repping it proudly as they should,
yeah.
Right? So I mean, the ad is just so iconic, and I just would iterate that the image is definitely the most important aspect of it, but they just nailed it on all levels. Like many times, if you have a really good image, like if you just had the image and didn't have very good ad copy around it, you could probably still make a ton of sales. However, this is kind of optimized at every level, and that's really where you want to get, right? You want to like squeeze all the juice out of that lemon when you do have that product that, you know, that really evokes emotion, relatability. And so ideally, you want to pay attention to those other details, because sometimes those can be a difference maker. But in most cases, and by far the most important, is the actual image, which in this case, they did an amazing job.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and yeah, just be clear that the text is not nearly as important as the image, because the image is the first thing they see. And something else to be clear, the image makes it super clear what the offer is. If your image doesn't make it clear what the offer is, then there's no point, because they don't know what they're buying. So what's the point in clicking on it, right?
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes the ad will look like an ad for a gym. They might be like, oh, it's just a gym advertising to me, right? You're totally right. Having that shop now button too, it's like training the shopper, like it's shaping the path for making it as easy as possible for people to buy. And when it says shop now, you know, you tie that to a physical product in most cases.
Yeah. And I mean, in this case, the image actually tells it all. The text is supporting evidence, right? Now, the next thing, the third key is the targeting. And what we say is the key is that the targeting is obvious. So what I mean by that is that it's obvious to the people in your niche who see the ad, and that this product is for them. The keys here are that the product, the ad imagery, and the ad text should all be what we call naturally selective. In other words, they're solely targeted to your niche and will naturally screen out people not in your niche and screen in people in your niche. So you may be thinking, why? What about detailed targeting? Shouldn't that do the job of getting my ad in front of the right people in my niche? Well, yes and no. As you might know, meta targeting has changed a lot. The old way of targeting was telling Meta a specific niche audience using detailed targeting options, but that way is slowly dying as Meta AI gets smarter and much better than most marketers at finding the right people to buy at the right time. The new way of targeting that's working much better is giving Meta AI as much control of the targeting as possible and focusing more on the natural targeting through the ad imagery and text. Now, don't get me wrong. There are still some things that you should specify to Meta. For example, like the region you're targeting. You wouldn't want Meta to be sending ads to people in the Sahara Desert if you only want to sell to people in the US market. But for most options beyond, say, region, you're just adding suggestions anyways if you want to use Meta AI. Okay, so the next question is, so how do you target then? You target in the ad imagery and text itself. The image you choose and what you say in the text should tell people seeing your ad exactly who this ad is for. In other words, what niche is this ad relevant for? Is it relevant for them? When you do this, something magical happens. Meta AI starts to naturally target people that are more likely to convert. Why? Because when people know who this ad is for, then they start self-screening. Think about it. If you see an ad with a person wearing a nurse scrub with a cool design on it and talks about wearing this new trendy scrub next time you go to work at the hospital, then what do you naturally do? If you're a nurse, then you're likely to look at the ad for longer, maybe even click on it to see the price and what other stuff that the brand sells. If you're not a nurse though, then you're likely to just keep scrolling to the next piece of content. Meta AI looks at these signals and optimizes around the people clicking on the ad, which if you targeted properly, should be your niche audience. Adrian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy how much Meta has changed over the years. I remember when we used to spend so much time strategizing around the audiences and looking for interest and interest stacking,
drilling down and
finding all these like little hacks and tweaks to try to get these people like, oh, should we keep it under this number? Should we keep the audience over this number? Guys, like it's in that sense, targeting, in my opinion, Carlos, let me know if you agree with me, is easier than ever because you can go super broad. Meta learns very, very quickly. So they're going to learn very quickly. But also, if you do what Carlos said there about naturally selective, if you essentially call out your niche in the image, that will allow them to self-select. And then it's essentially like training the algorithm. You're training the algorithm of the ads algorithm to show it to the people that are stopping and spending more time looking at it. And if it's a nurse product and a nurse looks at it, most likely those are going to catch their eye more than if a teacher sees that or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's super like, I think some people resist a bit. There's been some resistance with targeting. People
I feel like it's mostly marketers,
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, it's mostly marketers. Some marketers are resisting. They want to have more control of the targeting. But guys, like, I can almost guarantee you Meta knows more about your niche than you do. And it's purely data-based. Like, it's because they have so many data points on social media. They have so much information that they're not even sharing with us, that they're using to optimize these ads. So the sooner you can embrace that and like give up that control, not only is it going to it's going to make it simpler for you and allow you to spend more time on other sales generating activity, but in most cases, it's also going to be more effective. And who doesn't want that, right? Who doesn't want more effective ads? Yeah. So I say embrace it. Let AI do its thing here. I mean, it's totally automated in the back end. You're not having to do any prompts or anything. Let it do its thing. It's really good and it learns very quickly.
Yeah, and targeting, it's not like it's not like letting go of targeting altogether. You're still targeting. It's just you're targeting in your ad imagery and copy and ad imagery and text. You're targeting in the ad itself, which you should have been doing the whole time. You should have been doing that the whole time. Good ads should be targeted already. You're not trying to appeal to everyone. You're trying to appeal to the people that are most likely to buy, the people that are most likely to find value in your product, which are people in your niche audience. So this is something people should have been doing all along, but I think it wasn't as important in the past as it is now. Now it's super important because this helps Meta's AI to find the right people. Like, it makes it even better. Meta's AI engine will already find the right people. But the problem is that if you don't have naturally selective type targeting in your ad imagery and text, then you're going to have people clicking on it that aren't actually your target audience, that aren't the ideal audience they're actually going to buy. And so Meta AI will actually start targeting them too. And you're going to start wasting money. And so this is to be as efficient and as profitable as possible.
Right. Yeah. Can I say one more thing? Yeah. I mean, like, I also want to mention that in 2025, it has never been easier to create imagery to show a particular environment with the help of AI.
Oh yeah.
It's so easy. Like, you could, with one single prompt, you could create like someone wearing a t-shirt with a coffee lover design on it with a coffee shop in the background within one prompt, and like within seconds or like a minute or less, you can have a mock-up that looks realistic, looks really good. And guess what? That's going to catch coffee lovers' attention if there's a coffee shop in the background. Same thing, nurse. Like, generate a mock-up of a nurse in a hospital, right? In a hospital setting. Again, like, it's never been easier. If you want, you can use mock-ups from, let's say you like to buy mock-ups from Etsy. You can buy a really good flat lay, for example, remove the background, and then create a background with AI. So if it's a nurse shirt, you can create a hospital looking background or something like that. Or if it's like a coffee lover shirt, you can have coffee beans next to it, or, have it on kind of like a coffee style surface and have the design on there. And that's going to catch people's eye a lot more than just having like a generic white background or just a generic background. So it's never been easier to create the imagery for people to self-identify.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if we look at that other ad that I was describing to you of the young man, muscular guy wearing the cutoff shirt in the gym with the cross and the barbells on the shirt, on the design, that's a perfect example of very obvious targeting. It's a cross on shirt, which that's the Christian symbol. It's a cross with barbells, so it's like Christian and plus gym. It's pretty easy to piece two and two together. And it's a young muscular guy at the gym, which that's who they're targeting. Yeah, that's exactly who they're targeting. The targeting is super obvious on that ad. And I think that's part of the reason why that ad is doing so well for them, because that's their target audience. And that's also one of their best selling products. So, they've got all three keys there. But anyways, let's jump into the bonus tip now. A great resource to spy on your competitors is the Facebook ads library. And this is exactly the ad that I was talking about earlier, that I was describing to you. This you can find this. It's open information. You can find this on the Facebook ads library. To find the Facebook ads library, you can either Google Facebook ads library or just go directly to facebook.com/ads/library. And you can look up anybody. They can look up any brand and find what ads they're running, how long they've been running them, which gives you a really good indication of if the ads are successful. Then you can pick apart those ads and reverse engineer them and recreate the concept for your own brand. Now, Adrian, your thoughts?
Man, like the Facebook ads library is so underrated. This is a free spy tool where you can see a lot of really successful brands. You can see what ads they're running. You can see the imagery, the ad copy, everything. Like it's right there. It's put on a platter for you. And I actually think that a lot of people, particularly newer brand owners, just don't know it exists, or they were never told about it or something like that, which totally understandable. We didn't know at one point. Yep. But man, when we found out, it became one of our new best friends. Like you take the 3R system, research, reverse engineer, recreate. You apply that onto the Facebook ads library. You can look at big competitor brands, or you can look at brands in other niches that you can take inspiration from that are just doing well. And this is like a very effective way to identify winning ads, winning products, and then to use those as inspiration for what you do. Because like we see all the time, success leaves clues, right? If someone's been running this ad for a super long time and they spent a bunch of budget on it, it's probably profitable, right? Yeah. Like why else would they do it if let's say they're a print-on-demand seller, if they've been running it for a long time, it's very likely profitable. And so that's a form of validation. Yeah.
Okay, so let's recap the 3 keys to winning ads that we discussed on this episode. Number 1, that the product is desirable. This is the most important, crucial component. Number 2 is that the offer is clear. And number 3, the targeting is obvious. And then the bonus tip is leverage the Facebook ads library to research your competitors, reverse engineer their best performing ads, and recreate the concepts for your own brand. Adrian, back to you.
Yeah, very well said. I have nothing to add. So with that, why don't we land the plane on this episode? Carlos, thank you so much for walking us through that. I hope that was super helpful and valuable for our listeners. I always love hearing Carlos talk about ads because he's just such a wealth of knowledge there. If you enjoyed this marketing episode, I want to recommend checking out our free 60-minute on-demand training called How to Make Your First $10,000 with Shopify and Print on Demand, which we are going to link below in the show notes, as we always do. So there, we reveal the exact strategy that we use and teach that's generated us millions in sales across 2 apparel brands. And at the end of that masterclass, there's also an opportunity to join our training and coaching program, T-Shirt Legends Academy. if that's something you're looking for. So if you're looking for personalized coaching to expedite that growth process, a supportive private community of other ambitious entrepreneurs on the same path, and step-by-step training on our proven repeatable growth system, heavily focused on marketing, TLA might be a good fit for you. So you can go and check it out for yourself and make that determination. You can register for that training by clicking the link below in the show notes or by going to ecomlegendsacademy.com/grow. So with that, we're going to sign off. Thank you so much for listening. We love hanging out with you guys. We will see you next Friday. Remember to start before you're ready, take imperfect action, and remember you're always one design away.
Hey, if you're loving the Print on Demand podcast and want more, please help us out by rating this on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening from. It only takes a minute, and this is one of the best ways to support the show and let us know that you're enjoying these weekly episodes. Thank you in advance, and we'll talk soon.